My fellow bad guys, I, Lex Luthor, your leader, will speak now about my, Lex Luthor's plan. My villainous plan. Question the plan at your peril.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and it's time to go through the full DC solicitations for April 2021. Obviously, we've talked about a lot of the new series, a lot of the new creative teams that they've already announced, but I'm going to go through the whole thing today. It should be a lot of fun. There's a couple covers I want to talk about, a couple of new Batman characters, new Batman villains coming in. Shocking. I think we'll be getting a new Batman villain every month for the foreseeable future after the large-scale success of James Tynion adding lots of new allies and villains onto that series. Now, before I get into the details of all of DC's April solicitations, and I hope you like Batman because there's a lot of it, I do want to say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs down if you don't. Either way, I want to hear your thoughts on DC's April solicitations. What are you excited about? Are you excited about everything? Are you excited about nothing? How's Infinite Frontier shaping up for you? We'll see. I'm not extremely excited, but there's definitely some stuff in here that I'm going to be checking out. Now, the first thing to talk about is the Green Lantern series. Obviously, I talked about this in a full video not too long ago. Now, the rumor is, or at least Perch believes, that this cover has been done in error, that won't be the primary cover. There's no trade dress on this, but I will say that this is the introductory cover for the new Green Lantern series by Geoffrey Thorne. I believe is a mistake. This is a good way to make everyone hate Teen Lantern. Also interesting about this is Geoffrey Thorne himself was talking to Perch, and he said if you're expecting lots of Teen Lantern in his Green Lantern book, you're probably going to be decidedly disappointed. But strikingly enough, DC specifically points out Teen Lantern and Joe Mullins joining John Stewart on this Green Lantern book. I'm very excited for the artist. I think Dexter fits Green Lantern like a glove. Obviously, Geoffrey Thorne's first issue of Future State Green Lantern, while I wouldn't say it's a Green Lantern book, it was entertaining. It was a fun space adventure. That's kind of what you want out of Green Lantern. So I will probably check this out, although I'm not exactly happy with the $5 cover price, but I think that's something we're just going to have to get used to at DC Comics if you want to keep reading their wares. Next is Robin #1. This is the debut of the Damian Wayne-led Robin series from Joshua Williamson. We did not see his name as far as a mainstay, like the top billed writer on any of the Infinite Frontier books last month, but this month he's got this with Gleb Melnikov coming off of a pretty successful maiden voyage with Ginny Hex. Numbers as far as sales probably weren't good, but the reception to the book itself was pretty high. Definitely going to be checking this one out. This is only $4, so that's that's a bit of a reprieve. I really like Damian Wayne. I prefer him to get some character rejuvenation, possibly with obviously John Kent would be #1, but the other one that I would really like would be Dick Grayson, but he's got his own solo book as well. So it's going to be Damian Wayne flying solo, at least for the beginning of this, breaking away from the Bat family, breaking away from the Teen Titans after he was booted from the group. Should be an interesting series. I'm definitely going to check this one out. I like Damian Wayne, and hopefully Joshua Williamson can kind of do for that character what he has done for the Flash. Give him a nice solid run and really rehabilitate the character. The next big one is The Dark Knight #1, Batman the Dark Knight. It's a good title. Tom Taylor becoming more of a DC writer now than a Marvel writer. He used to be the Marvel guy that would come over and occasionally write in DC. Obviously, he's got Deceased. Enormous success for DC Comics as far as a franchise. He's got the new Nightwing book. He's also got the Injustice digital series as well. So he's a pretty big name at DC. He's certainly associated with the Bat family. Andy Kubert on art should be excellent. But Wes just said there's too many Batman comics. And I'm not taking that back either. There are too many Batman comics. But are you crazy? Batman going to Europe, Tom Taylor on the series with art by Andy Kubert. Absolutely, I'll be checking it out. And we are supposedly going to be getting some new villains. I believe his name is Equilibrium, and some new allies as well. Shocking. Lots of new characters in the Batman universe, which is actually a welcome change. You can only have so many Joker stories or Bane stories moving forward. There are older villains that probably could be used more, but we could use a bigger rogues gallery, I guess. If there's going to be 85 Batman series, he's going to need some new villains. Next up is the next Batman Second Son. This is going to be a DC digital first comic book. Obviously, this is John Ridley spinning out of the next Batman series in Future State. We knew we were going to get something like this, but this is the new strategy for DC Comics as far as the DC Digital First. Every 2 issues are going to be collected and distributed as a floppy. You're not going to have to wait for the trades anymore. Although Injustice, I think you probably still will. It doesn't look like that one's on there. Or even the Deceased digital stuff going on right now. But moving forward, when you got a DC Digital First, whether it be the next Batman, the Scooby-Doo mystery comic, a few others, every 2 issues, they're going to collect them, release them as a floppy. I think that's a good move. A lot of people are upset about Challenge of the Super Sons. We wanted Super Sons on print. Well, you're going to get that, and we'll get to that here below. Obviously, there's going to be a rotating group of artists. Tony Akins, Travel Foreman, Mark Morales are the first up on the docket. We'll see how the next Batman goes. This probably isn't something I'm extremely excited about or willing to jump into. 1 of 4, obviously, the DC Digital First is a limited series. Appears to be 8 issues, 40 pages, $5. No, I'll probably pass on that one. I don't like the next Batman that much. Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries #1. I'm definitely going to be checking this one out. This is right up my alley. Nice homage cover to The Dark Knight Returns. My son is going to love this. We are going to have fun reading it together. Although I will wait for like maybe the entire series. I think there's 14 issues that are going to come out to all release on digital before I read them with them. These should be fun. Obviously, Scooby-Doo and Batman are old friends. They've been teaming up together since the 70s, and this is the latest iteration. Should be good, fun comic book for all ages. And like I mentioned before, Challenge of the Super Sons. You were pissed because it was a DC Digital First. It is not a digital-only comic. Every 2 issues will be released as a floppy. $4 for 32 pages. 1 of 7. Obviously, there's 14 digital comics. This is Peter J. Tomasi, Max Raynor. Covered by Jorge Jimenez. Ooh, variant by Simon DeMeo. Simone DeMeo, an artist I like. Let's see what it looks like. This has got to be the main cover, and this has got to be the backup. Yeah, very beautiful. I'll go with this one though. Jorge Jimenez. What are you going to do? It's hard to outdo him. But you know, it's great to see the Super Sons back. It's a title that never should have been canceled. Brian Bendis, thank you very much for ruining Superman and the entire Superman family for DC Comics. But obviously, I've talked about that enough here on the channel. Harley Quinn, black, white, and red trade paperback. This is a very quick turnaround. Obviously, that was also a DC Digital First coming out of the pandemic. Stories and art by various. 224 pages for $20. Not the greatest value in the history of the world. 19 short stories about Harley Quinn. If you're a Harley fan, this is probably something you're going to be interested in. I know that there was a follow-up from the Harleen story by Stephen Sygic. I believe that was his last work at DC Comics before he moved on to bigger and brighter things. This, I think, is funny. So I guess the brand synergy. I know Rooster Teeth is part of the Warner Media like family or whatever, but they're really trying to push this on people, like the RWBY Justice League team-up book that nobody ever asked for and no one will ever read. This is a waste of paper. Every tree that dies to print this comic that nobody wants is a waste. And I'm not really even an environmentalist. And I feel like DC and Rooster Teeth and Warner Media, what are you doing? Why are you killing these trees for this garbage comic that nobody ever asked for? RWBY will never sell well as a DC comic. It does not fit the brand, no matter how much you wish it did. And what an enormous waste. If this was 99 cents for 100 pages, I wouldn't buy it because it's garbage. There's no why would I throw $1 away, let alone $4 away on Marguerite Bennett, who just came off one of the worst showings in Future State with her Kara Zor-El Wonder Superwoman comic book, which was absolutely awful. There you go. I think I've said my piece. Action Comics 1030. Obviously, this is the Philip Kennedy Johnson comic book. Let's see. Looks like we're getting the Superman family back. It says Daniel Sampre on art here, but here it says it's Phil Hester. I wonder which one is correct. Do you think it's the solicitation or do you think it's the cover that's right? How about this, DC? Get your crap together. Jeez. What a joke. Although I am absolutely going to be reading this. War World Rising. So obviously this is going to be connecting into the Superman War World comic or story that's going on in Future State. I imagine at some point Superman is going to leave Earth, and that'll be one of these books, and that John Kent will be Superman on Earth, and that will be the other Superman book. One will be action, the other one will be Superman. That is just my prediction. I do think we'll see that. And in the backup story, we all wanted backup stories, for that extra $1 for this Midnighter backup story to reintroduce the Authority to Superman. We'll see how that strategy works. My prediction, not well. Well, at least they got this one right. Scott Godlewski on the art on Superman. Interesting cover. Obviously, the family, the Superman family, the relationship between John Kent and Clark Kent is going to be very forward, at least initially, in Philip Kennedy Johnson's Superman run. I find that very appealing and a welcome addition. He never should have left. I know that these tales are connected to the Superman. The first few issues of Action and Superman are going to tell one story. And I've also heard rumors that Philip Kennedy Johnson won't be the writer on both Superman and Action, that once this first event type thing is over, that someone else will step in. We shall see. Only time will tell. Definitely going to be reading both of those, though. American Vampire 1976, number 7. Scott Snyder, Francis Francavilla. Looks to be a new artist on that series. If you're a big American Vampire series or a fan, obviously this is your book. Black Label, $4. At least the price isn't too much. I tried getting into American Vampire, it just wasn't my thing. Batman 107. This is an interesting looking cover. We got James Tynion, Jorge Jimenez. Obviously, this character is somebody very bad. The Dark Knight has his hands full juggling the investigation of the reappearance of an old enemy and the rise of a new gang in Gotham called the Unsanity Collective. Sounds disgusting. I bet they reek. I bet they absolutely reek. Gotham is getting more dangerous by the minute. I don't know. Gotham was just taken over by Joker. 5 minutes prior, it was taken over by Bane. Obviously, we know the magistrate is coming to town. But I bet it's less dangerous than when Joker and Bane were murdering people left and right on the streets. Just my guess. Also, there is a backup story from James Tynion and Lopez Ortiz telling about the Ghostmaker for another $1. Although, at least, it's a story about a character that's being featured by James Tynion that he created. So, I'd still don't, whatever, $5 comics makes me want to vomit. Batman Black and White number 5. Really pretty damn good creators on this one. Jorge Jimenez writing and illustrating. Mariko Tamaki, obviously, she's doing pretty darn well in Dark Detective. We shall see if Batman is her character. Everybody can write one good issue. Let's see if she can do more than that. She'll be working with Emanuela Lupacchino, Jamal Campbell from Bar Sector, and what else was he on? The other teen character that Brian Michael Bendis created besides Teen Lantern. What was her name? I don't remember. He's also writing and illustrating. Kieran Gillen, Jamie McKelvey, and Lee Weeks as well. So that's actually a pretty darn good creative team. $6, 48 pages. I don't really love anthology books. But if you like Batman and you want to see some black and white art, this should be really good. Jorge Jimenez, Jamal Campbell, Lee Weeks on one comic book. That right there sells itself, and the other artists aren't bad either. Batman Urban Legends. This is something I'm interested in, but I'm not gonna buy. Here's the thing. So Chip Zdarsky on a Batman Red Hood book. Hell yeah, I'm very interested. $8 for a 64-page comic. If it was all Chip Zdarsky and Eddie Barrows, I would do it. But you're also getting Matthew Rosenberg, terrible writer, especially for superhero comics. He's not bad on horror. And I guess Batman has horror elements, but I don't see him doing very well. Brandon Thomas, I think he just had a really bad story in Future State. And Cecil Castellucci, the worst writer in the entire comic book industry. I'm going to wait, and hopefully they collect the Chip Zdarsky, Eddie Barrows, Batman Red Hood story in one book, and then I'll read it. Otherwise, no way. I'm not paying that much. But obviously, if you're a big Batman fan, this could be the book for you. Batman Superman 17. I don't know why they didn't just reboot this one, but it's gonna be Gene Yang, Ivan Rice, Danny Mickey. I don't know. This series does not intrigue me at all. Batman Ra's al Ghul number 6. Is this the final? Yeah, this is the final issue. Neil Adams. I guess they remembered they needed to finish this comic book. I thought it was already over, but there you go. Should be fine. Ooh, Deadman, Boston Brand. There you go. Batman, Catwoman number 5. This should be the point where Tom King does something absolutely bonkers. And when I say bonkers, I mean some real deal character destruction. We're talking, is he going to destroy Batman? Is he going to destroy Catwoman? Who's he going to destroy? Joker? About this part in every miniseries he writes, he destroys a character. So that's what I'm expecting about this point. You're damn right I'll be reading this. And the Clayman art almost makes it worth it. But yeah, this is the money spot where Tom King falls on his ass, and yeah, he cannot recover. Catwoman, Ram V. I'll read it just because it's Ram V. Well, is Catwoman 25 like multi-story issue was actually really good, so I do have high hopes for this. I think Ram V is probably one of the top 5 writers in the industry, just according to myself, and excited about that. Ooh, look at this one. Crime Syndicate number 2, written by writer, illustrated by penciler, inker, and colors by colorist. That's a damn good creative team right there. How embarrassing is that? DC, get your shit together. Oh. Andy Schmidt, obviously, he was the 3rd writer on the Generation Shattered book. And I imagine he'll be the 3rd writer on the Generation Forged book. If I was more interested in Crime Syndicate, I would read it just because he did a good job. But I'm not interested enough. And, hey, this one's only $4, so DC's saving you money. Detective Comics 1035, Mariko Tamaki and Dan Moore, the hottest creative team at DC Comics. Who would have thought? Man, they did a damn good job on that Dark Detective. Not as good as Swamp Thing, but it was right up there. The creative teams that they've kept together, obviously Ram V, Mike Perkins, Mariko Tamaki, Dan Moore, and then Wonder Woman was what Joelle Jones should be doing the Wonder Girl series. So they kind of kept the 3 best creative teams so far together. Probably smart. Obviously, they had an idea of what was good. So I think this is Mr. Worth, the new villain. I imagine that's Mr. Worth. Apparently, how do they call him? 8-foot-tall stack of muscle and money is out to get revenge on Batman after his daughter is killed, and he believes Batman did it. We've seen that story before. Obviously, this will be a new take. $5. $5. Not even a backup. Well, I don't want to. Well, there is a backup story. Huntress and Hunted. Clayton Henry on the art on that one. He's not a bad artist, but nobody wants that stuff. The Dreaming Waking Hours. G. Willow Wilson. Pass. Bar Sector. N.K. Jemisin. Jamal Campbell. We got a nice butt shot on Joe Mullen's fine ass. Still not reading it, but good cover. The Flash, 769. So apparently, Wally West gets sucked into the time stream. That's pretty original. Is that original? And he jumps into Bart Allen's body in the 30th century, and he's going to be teaming up with somebody named Gold Beetle. And I imagine, well, I don't imagine. That's this character right here. And apparently, she is a lush, and she is drunk and sexually harassing Wally West in Bart Allen's body. For shame. Classic villain written all over her. There should be a turn by this character, and she is obviously pure evil. Look at this. He is disgusted. And why wouldn't he be? Gross. Well, who's the... It doesn't say who the backup or the variant cover artist is. I can't see the name. But, man, I feel bad for Wally West. He is essentially being assaulted right there. Harley Quinn number 2. Stephanie Phillips, Riley Rossmo. I think Riley Rossmo's art is atrocious. If he illustrated a Robert Venditti book, I would just read the word bubbles and just try not to look at the art because I just don't like it. It's so weird. It's too expressive and it's too out there for me. But even if this was illustrated by Greg Capullo, I wouldn't read it. Even though I will say Stephanie Phillips had a better handle on Harley Quinn than I anticipated. There you go. The Joker, James Tynan, Sam Johns, Guillaume March. This is going to be the Joker and obviously Commissioner Gordon in Europe. And we're also going to have a backup story of Punchline, which is basically just continuing on the story of Punchline number 1, which was absolutely atrocious. I don't know. If the backup story wasn't in this, I would absolutely do it. $5, 40 pages. I just don't know that I want to pay for 12 pages of garbage. even for $1. Justice League 60, Brian Michael Bendis. Enough said. Will I review it? Yes. Will I enjoy it? Absolutely not. Man Bat number 3. I'm going to read this one. I don't know Dave Wielgoss very well. Obviously, I believe he was a editor at DC Comics for a long time, but Sumit Kumar on the art should be a bang up. It should be a lot of fun. Nightwing, Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo is going to be great. Three-legged puppy. That one sells you right there. Even if Nightwing wasn't in there, there's a three-legged puppy people, and that would basically do it. Who is Mayor Zuko? What is his relation to the man who murdered Dick Grayson's parents? Haven't heard about that story before. Rorschach number 7. So this should be 2 issues past when Tom King falls on his ass to completely destroys a character. Although it would be interesting how he does it in this comic book because we don't have the real Rorschach's not in the book. What long-standing character can he destroy if there's no characters in the book? He'll find a way. I feel it. Although Jorge Fornes' art has been very good. Scooby-Doo. I'm not reading that with my kid. There's 109 issues. Maybe I'll check it out someday. Sensational Wonder Woman, another DC digital first being collected. Suicide Squad number 2. Robbie Thompson. This is the new Suicide Squad. It looks like Peacemaker has already died. Nope. Superman Red and Blue number 2. This is obviously the anthology book. Chuck Brown is somehow a higher status than Robert Venditti. Stephanie Phillips, Dave Panosian, Jason Howard. I don't know. My only hope is that the Robert Venditti story is collected somewhere else. I believe Nicola Scott is also the artist on that one, although it doesn't mention her. Swamp Thing number 2. This is must buy. Obviously, Ram V, Mike Perkins have done amazing stuff with as far as the first issue of Swamp Thing in Future State. I expect nothing but more excellence, even though they're changing out who Swamp Thing is. Sweet Tooth, The Return, Jeff Lemire. Just not in my wheelhouse. Teen Titans Academy number 2. I'm going to read this, even though I think the Sheridan dude has a bad grasp on the characters. I did not enjoy that story. Future State, I think they're overdoing the Red X stuff. Like, we get it. Red X is coming. Let me guess. Nope. There's another cover. It would just be a big Red X in a face mask. Yes, we know. Red X is there. Danny Lord, the new Champions writer on Truth and Justice. No, thank you. Wonder Woman in Hades. Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad. We shall see. Well, she's not in Hades. She's in Valhalla. But we shall see. This Future State book hasn't come out yet. I'm not sold on Cloonan and Conrad. I'll put it that way. This has got to be the fastest turnaround ever for a deluxe edition hardcover. Batman by John Ridley. Obviously, this is Future State Batman. Like the comic that isn't done yet. It's coming out the next week. That's crazy. Nick Darrington art's been good. But I didn't realize there's going to be a bunch of different artists. Although I kind of like Dustin Nguyen, but I don't support him anymore for reasons that I'm not going to talk about here. Well, that's it. Those are the April 2021 solicitation for DC Comics. There's some definite winners in there. Excited for Nightwing, excited for Robin, excited for Batman, The Dark Knight. Going to be reading Detective Comics. We're getting a new villain in there. Superman, Action Comics. What else do we got in there that's going to be good? I'm definitely going to be reading Teen Titans just to see. Swamp Thing, absolutely. But there's a lot of stinkers in there too. I don't know. It doesn't. What do you guys think? Are dark days ahead for DC Comics, or is this the kind of change that you want? Let me know in the comment section. I enjoy doing this. I will see you all next time. Peace.